Hey guys, what's up? A Curse Demon here, and today I will be showing you an Ahri guide. So, I'm currently in my promotion to Diamond 4 and I played 117 Ahri games with a 59% win rate and a 3.35 KDA. I guess that's pretty good, and I want to show you some secrets, or actually just a guide on how to play Ahri, how to build her, what the skill order will be, the runes and masteries, of course, tips and tricks, how we should be playing in the laning phase, and how we should be playing in the team fights. So with the new season 6, or rather the pre-season 6, I saw Froggen using flat cooldown reduction 10%, because the games are way more snowbally and decided by whose early game is better. So I started using these runes and I actually really like them. So I mainly use three rune pages at the moment, as you can see. So the first one is pretty much 10% flat cooldown reduction with the glyphs flat cooldown reduction, one flat cooldown reduction quint, and two flat AP quints. Then I use scaling health yellows, magic pen reds, and yeah, that's it. My second rune page, I just changed the flat health, the health per level yellows for flat health yellows. And on my third rune page, I changed the yellows again and I use armor this time. I use the third rune page for a matchup like Talon or Zed, so basically AD assassins. And I tend to use the flat HP rune page almost all the time, just because, as I said, the games are way more decided by the early game. So this will give you a huge stat boost in the early game, and especially will give you a good mid game, because Ahri is actually pretty insane right now in the mid game, and you can snowball and win games with her easy. You basically want to use the scaling health yellows when you think that you can't really outplay your lane opponent, or if you just, like, if it's for example, I don't know, like a Morgana or a Nivea who's going like What of Ages, and you will be pretty sure that you can't 1v1 them, especially when you hit 6, you should just go with the health per level runes. So for masteries I tested quite a few, and I have to say I like these the most. It's pretty basic actually. You go for sorcery for the increased ability damage, then feast because double-edged sword is only useful on melee champs, so this will give you a little bit of extra sustain. Then I will go with natural talent because the what is it called? The spell ramp is like not that useful. You won't notice any difference, so I rather have that little bit of extra AP. And then I will go with oppressor because it's like 2.5 increased damage percent to 2.5%. It's actually it's better for Ahri than Bounty Hunter because you just need to hit your E and the other abilities will get that increased damage. And Bounty Hunter is like, you know, it needs to stack up, and it can be better in the later part of the game, like when you kill 3 different people, but especially for snowballing your lane, I just like Oppressor more. So then in the cunning tree I will go with savagery because like it's easier to last hit. If you're fine with your lasting skills, you can go for Wanderer. It's not that much of a difference. Yeah, then the next point is like they're both like equally good. I tend to use Secret Stash just because it's better in the early laning phase, gives you a little bit of extra health and mana, but you can just go with Runic Affinity. It's not that much of a difference. Then I will go with Merciless because I mean it's increased damage. It's obviously better for an assassin. The mana regen is nice, but yeah, as I said, the increased damage is just flat better. Then obviously Dangerous Game. Not much to explain here. You're playing an AP mage in the mid lane, not a support. Then I will go with intelligence, just because of that extra 5% cooldown reduction. I tried out precision too, and actually it's not bad, but like the damage increase is really low, so I rather get that extra cooldown reduction. Then obviously Thunderlord's Decree, it just gives you a good amount of burst damage and it's overall pretty nice. I tried out Storm Raider's Surge too, and yeah, I actually like that one too, but it's like, I rather get the damage, you know? For killing people, snowballing, I just like it a little bit more. I also tried out this rune page with the magic penetration and Deathfire Touch, but I don't know, I just think you got more burst damage with Thunderlord's Decree, and Ahri is obviously a burst mage, so I tried it out, I didn't like it as much as Thunderlord's, so I just go with Thunderlord's Decree. Okay, so we'll now come to the item builds. There are actually plenty of things you can do. I recommend you to either rush Morello or Abyssals. Usually I will go for Morello in these standard matchups. I will rush Abyssals against heavy AP burst champs, like for example LeBlanc. You just need to rush that Abyssals or like Brand to just survive the burst, and it actually gives you enough damage to 1v1 them and to kill them. Abyssals actually got its price reduced in contrast to all the other AP items. They're all pricier now, and yeah, it's just a flat out good item. If you decide to rush Abyssals, you should go Loons next for the extra amount of damage. It's an insane item on Ahri. Just increases your burst damage, the movement speed is nice, it's just a really good item for Ahri. Then you should build Morello. You might wonder why you should build this like sustain item with cooldown reduction. I mean, it gives you mana regen, you usually rush it on a lot of mages. You might wonder why you should get it as the third item. So I actually saw that on Faker's stream, like he did this a lot when he rushed Abyssals, then he went like into Loons and then Morello, and I wondered why he did this, and I tried it out myself, and I have to say it's just amazing, because you will miss the cooldown reduction, you will definitely miss the cooldown reduction and even the mana regen in the mid game if you don't have a Morello. So it's an awesome item as a third item if you decide to want to go this build path. Like in between you should get the sorcerer boots. I tried out the lucidity boots too, but I mean they are quite good, they're really cheap, they reduce your flash and ignite, but they reduce the cooldown of your summoners, but like I guess you need the magic penetration to assassinate your targets, so I just like the sorcerer boots more. So as a fifth and sixth item, you should definitely go for the death cap and the white staff, because that are pretty much essential items. Like in some games you can skip out the death cap for an hourglass if you really need it. And yeah, that's it on this build path. The next one is the more standard build path. It's like you rush Morello, go into Ludens, then you buy death cap or white staff depending on the state of game. Like if they got no magic resistance at all, just go for the death cap. But if you see like your enemy mid laner building Abyssals, the Solari completed, that top laner got magic resistance, you can go for the white staff as a third item. Then I usually go for an hourglass or a Wildlice as last item. So if you build white staff first, go death cap after that, and vice versa. And as the last item, you can decide between hourglass and the Wildlice pretty much. The Wildlice is actually awesome on Ahri because it gives you that extra CC. It synergizes well with your mastery, which gives you more damage on slowed and CC targets. That's a really good item, but Hourglass is actually really good too. I mean, it goes it got its price increased again, but that actually was like 500 gold, I guess. But the item itself is pretty good. So you just have to decide what you want and what you need in this game. So then I also experimented a bit with the Rod of Ages build, where you basically rush Rod of Ages, and then go into the Lunes and again the Death Cap or White Staff, so get both of these items. And as the last pickup, the Hourglass or the Wild Eyes again. What I like about this build is that you are really tanky, so it's actually worked good against like Annie, where I usually rush the Abyssals. I tried out a Rod of Ages and it worked quite well too. And especially if you get the Wild Eyes as last item, you are just super tanky. But well, you don't have any cooldown reduction with this build. You can go like Facility Boots, and then you will have like 20% cooldown reduction. I mean, it's okay, it's actually enough. With the other builds you got 30%, or actually 35 if you count in the mastery. With this build you got 25%. It's actually not that bad, and it makes you super tanky. So I really like this build and you should try it out too. So for the skill order, I will go with Q first, like in pretty much every matchup. Then skill E when you're level 2. It's just like, I don't really use it that much at level 2 unless it's like really free to hit and you can get that free poke out. But it's just like your W is pretty much useless in the early laning phase, and E helps you survive in ganks, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And at level 3 I skill Q again, because as I said, you won't use the W much in the early laning phase, and with the second point in Q you can like push better, and also you can harass your opponent better. After that you obviously wanna go like skill R whenever you can, after that Q, and so especially with Ahri there's one thing people do. It's like, so you're maxing Q, and when you hit level 8 you have to put a second point in W or E, and you should put that point into E because it gives you a longer charm duration, and level 9 you will max out your Q, and then you will max out your W. So you will have 2 points in E, then max your W, and then max your E last. That's basically what a lot of Ahri players are doing, and I enjoy this skill order too. So a few little tips with Ahri are like, when you are recalling, or like when you get back to your base and you need to reach your lane as fast as possible because you don't want to lose any minions, you can just throw your Q in the opposite direction you are running to, so just like in the direction of your base, to get that extra movement speed buff. The orb will fly longer in the air when you just throw it in the opposite direction you're running, and this will give you a quite nice movement speed buff to reach your lane faster, or just like when you're chasing someone and you're out of your range to hit your E, you can just throw your Q in the opposite direction to gain that sweet movement speed buff. Another trick is you can input buffer your charm, your E ability, in combination with flash. So you basically press your E button and instantly after that you are flashing. This will end in like you flashing forward and instantly pulling out that E, that charm, and a lot of people won't see this coming, and it's like a neat little trick. So in the early laning phase Ahri don't have much kill potential and pressure, but like your Q is good to push out your opponent, like if you know the enemy's got for example Mastery in the jungle, he won't gank, or you can expect him to not gank, and at least early in the game. So you're up against like a Lux or a Nivea, and you can just push them in the tower to make them lose turrets, to make them lose creep score under the turret. And otherwise you will just want to try and farm as good as possible with your auto attacks and not spamming your abilities that much. It's always good if you can last hit 2 or 3 minions and at the same time poking your enemy with your Q ability. That's pretty good because you get the free CS and you get the free poke. That's you should try to do this when you get the chance to do it. Otherwise, you should play more or less passive until level 6, like you can go for the poke, etc. Just remember to ward, so you don't get ganked if your lane is pushing, or if you are pushing them under the turret. And when you hit level 6 you get a huge power spike, and you got a lot of kill potential by then, because you can basically just 100 to 0 many champs. Like you can do the standard rotation, you will go in with your ultimate, use your W, use your E, especially you can use your ultimate 1 or 2 times, so 2 charges to get as close to your enemy as you can. So you hit that E for free and then just follow up with Q, ignite, and try to get as much auto attacks in between your skills as possible, because it's like the damage you will be missing to kill your enemy if you don't do this. So yeah, Ahri got a great 1v1 potential, but she's also a really good roamer. So you can roam to other lanes fast with your Q with the extra movement speed. And yeah, you got CC, you got damage. It's like always worth watching out if you can help other lanes and get them going, like get some kills. And what you should do before you roam is pushing out your lane, because like if you don't do this you will lose like a wave or 2, maybe even 3 waves to your turret if the enemy mid laner is pushing you in. And so what I always do is push out my lane so my minions will hit their turret and then just go for the roam. So in team fights you should wait until you see a good opportunity to either assassinate with your ultimate and your E and like your whole spell rotation, or you just simply stay in the backline, throw out your skills and do like a good amount of DPS, maybe peeling for your AD carry. That works out pretty good as well with Ahri. But you can also just engage fights with your ultimate and your E. So there's plenty of stuff you can do with Ahri. You should, like, if you start picking it up, you should just try out being overly aggressive and like to see your limits, to see what you can do. Because as I said, with Ahri you can do a whole bunch of things, especially in team fights. So what's always good is, like, as I said, staying behind, like pushing out as many skills as you can in a team fight, or just go for the assassination of an enemy carry. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this guide. It was my first, and if you have like any suggestions on how to improve this format, because I'm planning to do this for some other champions too, like just post them under the video in the comments. Otherwise I would glad to see some thumbs up, and yeah, have a good day.